Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Today we'll be discussing Essay 600, which speaks about using the work of another auditor. So before we start this essay, let us try to understand some key terms. These key terms are used all over this essay, and that is why knowing these key terms in advance, knowing the meaning of these key terms in advance is going to help us understand the standard much better. So let us learn the meaning of these keywords right before we kind of go into the standard. So the first key term is principal auditor, the second key term is other auditor, and the third key term is component. You can see this diagram on your right side. It is listing down the three keywords that are used extensively throughout this standard: principal auditor, other auditor, and component. Now, who is the principal auditor? Principal auditor is the auditor who is going to use the other auditor's work. He is the principal auditor. Who is the other auditor? Other auditor is the auditor whose work is going to be used, right? So principal auditor is the auditor who is going to use some other auditor's work. Other auditor is the auditor whose work is going to be used. Now, the third important key term is component. Now, you may be wondering why component is a key term in this standard. Like, how is this related to using the work of another auditor? Now, for this you need a little background. When we are saying using the work of another auditor does not mean that other auditor is going to come and help us, going to come and help the auditor in auditing, let us say, revenue or other income or other expenses or employee benefit expenses or some balance sheet caption. No, that is not why this standard is come out. This standard is come out in order to assist the principal auditor in auditing some component financial information which is forming a part of the financial information on which he has to opine, because he is unable to, let us say, to audit that component, the financial information on that component. That is why the standard is come into existence. For example, let us say a principal auditor has to comment on the consolidated financial statements of an Indian entity. Now this Indian entity, it may have a component, a subsidiary or a joint venture in some foreign country, right? So the principal auditor will also have to comment upon that foreign entity also, since it is a component and since it is a part of the group, it is a part of the consolidated financial statements. So in this case, he may have to rely on the auditor who has audited that component, right? So this standard is speaking about a principal auditor who is going to take the help of the other auditor who has audited the component, the financial information of the component. Keep that in mind. This other auditor is not going to help the principal auditor in auditing his financial statements. No, that is not the case that is envisaged in this standard. This standard is envisaging a situation where the principal auditor is going to get help from the other auditor, because the other auditor is going to audit the financial information of some component on which the principal auditor is going to rely upon. So that is why these three terms are very key in this standard, that is principal auditor, other auditor, and component. I hope these three terms are clear, because this is going to make work a lot easier in this standard. And like, if you get these three terms, then the standard is sort of done. There's not much to see in this standard beyond these three terms. You'll just see these three terms being played out again and again. So now let's go to the first question. Note on Essay 600. Now the purpose of Essay 600 is to establish standards to be applied in situations where an auditor, to be called principal auditor, who is reporting on the financial information of an entity, uses the work of another auditor, to be called other auditor, with respect to one or more components in the financial statements. So what is Essay 600 for? Essay 600 is envisaging a situation where a principal auditor is going to use the work of some other auditor who is going to audit the financial information of one or more components, because there can be multiple subsidiaries also. So that is why he may have to rely upon the work done by the other auditor on the component of the group. Second point, Essay 600 also discusses the responsibilities of the principal auditor while using the work of other auditor. Point number 3, this standard does not deal with, now point number 3 and 4 are very important. They are giving exclusions from the scope of Essay 600. Point number 3, this standard does not deal with instances when two or more auditors are appointed as joint auditors. Neither does it deal with the auditor's relationship with predecessor, that is the previous period auditor. So it is not dealing with joint audit case. Joint audit is dealt by with Essay 299, which speaks about the responsibilities of joint auditors neither is it talking about the relationship of the current year auditor with the previous period auditor. That is also not spoken by in this standard. This standard is talking about principal auditor using the work of another auditor who is going to opine, he is going to use the work of the other auditor who has audited the financial information of a component. Fourth point, when the principal auditor decides to use the work of other auditor, he should determine how the work of other auditor will affect the audit. ठीक है. So next is three definitions: principal auditor, other auditor, and component. Principal auditor means the auditor with responsibility for reporting on the financial information of an entity. The financial information includes the financial information of one or more components audited by other auditor. So this definition should be like very easy to understand, since we have already seeked a background, since we've already understood the background. Principal auditor is the one who is doing the audit of some company, and in that company financial information of some component is also included, and this component of financial information is being audited by some other auditor upon whose work the principal auditor is going to rely. Second question, other auditor. Other auditor means an auditor other than the principal auditor who has the responsibility for reporting on the financial information of a component. This component is included in the financial information audited by the principal auditor. So if you've seen the principal auditor definition and the other auditor definition, the second point is same. The first point is only different. Third answer, component. Component means a division, branch, subsidiary, joint venture, associated enterprises, or other entity whose financial information is included in the financial information audited by the principal auditor. So what can a component be? It can be a division, it can be a division within a company, it can be a branch. The principal auditor is commenting upon the head office and there are many branches, right? Subsidiary, joint venture, associated enterprises, or other entities. So the component on which the financial information component which is audited by the other auditor, it can be any of these, right? Next answer is principal auditor's procedures. So this is basically saying what procedures does the principal auditor have to perform in order to rely upon the work of other auditor, right? So first point is, when planning to use the work of other auditor, the principal auditor should consider the professional competence of the other auditor if the other auditor is not a member of ICAI. So if he is a member of ICAI, the principal auditor does not need to do anything, since it is assumed that any person of ICAI, he should have the requisite competence, knowledge and skills to perform an audit. But if he's not a member of ICAI, then the principal auditor should have to consider the professional competence, whether this other auditor is professionally competent, does he have the requisite knowledge, skills to perform a decent, a proper and appropriate audit. Point number 2, the principal auditor should perform procedures to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence that the work of the other auditor is adequate for the principal auditor's purposes. So he has to check the adequacy of the work, whether the other auditor has done sufficient work in order that he can place his reliance upon that. Point number 3, he should perform the following procedures. A, advise the other auditor how his work will be used and make sufficient arrangement for coordination of their efforts at the planning stage of the audit. So he should tell the other auditor how the work is going to be used that the other auditor does, and he should also ensure that there is proper coordination between him and the other auditor, because the other auditor may require some kind of help or guidance from the principal auditor, or he may also need some information from the principal auditor because there may be some intercompany transactions, let's say. So that is why the principal auditor should ensure that there is proper coordination between him and the other auditor. B, the principal auditor should inform the other auditor of matters like areas requiring special consideration, procedures for the identification of intercomponent transactions like we just said that may require disclosure, and the timetable for the completion of the audit. He also has to discuss a timetable because there are certain deadlines that audit has to be completed by that would have been discussed with the management, and that is why it is very important. Also because sometimes, let us say, there could be a situation where the component ka audit is being done a bit later, whereas the holding company is being done a bit earlier. So that is why they are going to have to manage these timelines properly, appropriately, in order that all the component audits are done before the holding company audit, right? C, advise the other auditor about significant accounting, auditing and reporting requirements and obtain representation of compliance with them. So he should basically obtain the representation from the other auditor that he is compliant, he is aware about all the significant accounting, auditing and reporting requirements of this audit. Fourth point, the principal auditor might discuss the procedures applied by the other auditor. He may review a written summary of the other auditor's procedures and findings. So the principal auditor, what he can do, he can discuss the procedures that have been performed by the other auditor, or he can review some kind of written summary, some kind of checklist or questionnaire that is performed by the filled by the other auditor, which contains the procedures and findings that he has got from his audit. So this can be checked upon by the principal auditor in order to place reliance upon it. Fifth, the principal auditor should consider the significant findings of the other auditor. This is very important because significant findings may have a lot of impact on the audit, and because of the significant findings of the other auditor, maybe the other auditor's report may get modified, but also the principal auditor may also have to modify his opinion. So significant findings are very important and these have to be discussed. Sixth point, in some cases, the other auditor may not be a professionally qualified auditor. Now, when this may happen? This may happen in case of a foreign country where the auditor need not be a professionally qualified auditor. In such cases, the above procedures become more important. Now, what is this point trying to say? Now, see, in India, the law mandates that the auditor has to be somebody who is qualified from ICAI. He has to be a chartered accountant from ICAI. But the same may not be the rules in other countries. The other countries may not require a professionally qualified auditor. They may give persons of different qualifications the right to audit, and in such cases, in such cases where that person is not a professionally qualified auditor, the above procedures, checking the work and checking the checklist, checking the written summary of procedures performed, what are the findings, what are the significant findings, all of these procedures will become even more important when the other person is not a professionally qualified auditor, since you are going to be placing reliance upon his work. Next question, coordination between auditors. Now, first point, there should be sufficient liaison between the principal auditor and the other auditor. For this purpose, principal auditor may issue written communication to the other auditor. And there should be sufficient coordination, sufficient communication between both the principal and the other auditors, because see, they may be in different countries, they may be in different jurisdictions, they may never even meet face to face, right? So in this case, communication is going to happen through a written mode only, or through email, let's say. So they should ensure that there is adequate communication to and fro between the principal and the other auditor. Point number 2, the other auditor should coordinate with the principal auditor, for example, by bringing to the principal auditor's immediate attention any significant findings to be dealt with at the entity level. So let us say that the other auditor finds something in the component which may be important from an entity or a group perspective, so he should bring that to the principal auditor's attention, immediate attention. Third point, similarly, the principal auditor should advise the other auditor of any matters that come to his attention that he may think have an important bearing on the other auditor's work. So vice versa, the principal auditor should also inform the other auditor anything that he feels may be of importance to the component auditor's work. Fourth point, the principal auditor may require the other auditor to answer a detailed questionnaire regarding matters on which the principal auditor requires information. The other auditor should respond to such questionnaire on a timely basis. So the principal auditor may send out some kind of questionnaire, some kind of list containing questions to which he may require responses from the other auditor in order to satisfy himself about the work done. So this checklist, this questionnaire should be filled out by the other auditor promptly, right? It is on a timely basis, he should fill it. Next, reporting considerations as per SA 600, very important. These answers are actually very, very important. Okay, coordination, reporting considerations, division of responsibility. Reporting considerations, first point, when the principal auditor concludes that the work of the other auditor cannot be used based on his procedures, and the principal auditor has also not been able to perform sufficient additional procedures regarding financial information on the component audited by the other auditor, he should express a qualified opinion or a disclaimer of opinion, as there is a limitation on the scope of audit. So what is this point trying to say? Principal auditor concludes that the work of the other auditor is insufficient. Now let us say this is only the case that he is not satisfied with the work done by the other auditor. So in this case, he may try to do some additional procedures. But let us say the additional procedures have also not given him sufficient evidence on which he can base his audit opinion. And in that case, he is left with no option but to modify his opinion, and he may have to issue a qualified or a disclaimer of a opinion because there is a limitation on the scope of audit. Point number 2, if the other auditor issues a modified opinion on the financial information of the component, the principal auditor should consider if modification of principal auditor's report is also required. So this point is also very important. If the component auditor is going to modify his opinion, the principal auditor may or may not require to modify his opinion. He will also have to consider what the other auditor has done and accordingly determine if his opinion also requires modification. Last answer of this standard, division of responsibility. The principal auditor is not responsible for the work performed by other auditor. Very, very important. He is not responsible for the work performed by the other auditor, except in circumstances which should have aroused his suspicion about reliability of work performed by other auditor. Now, if there was something which was very, very evident or very, very kind of it was in front of his eyes, so it was very, very evident, he should have known it. Except in such circumstances, he will never be responsible for the other auditor's work, but he should be alert. There should be basic skepticism that is expected of him. Point number 2, when the principal auditor is basing his opinion by relying upon the work of other auditor, his report should clearly state the division of responsibility for the financial information of the entity. What is this saying? It is saying that if he is relying upon the other auditor's work, he should clearly state in his audit report that this portion of the work, that is this component's financial information, has not been audited by him. It has been audited by some other auditor and he is placing reliance upon them, and that he is not responsible for such information. So he should kind of clearly give this disclaimer, this warning, that this information has not been audited by me. I am just using the work of another auditor. Okay, so that completes SA 600. I think it's a very simple standard, just a few key terms: principal auditor, other auditor, and component, and some important answers, but a very, very easy standard to grasp. I hope you all have understood the standard very well. Thank you for watching this video. Please do subscribe, like, comment. Please do follow my Telegram channel also. The username is CA Newton Lobo. We've hit 140 subscribers on Telegram. Thank you so much for that. We're also close to hitting 100 subscribers on YouTube. Thankful to each one of you who has subscribed and who keeps motivating me. Also have received some great feedback on the notes, so thank you very much for all of this appreciation and positive words that are coming my way. I'm really grateful to each of you, and keep supporting me, keep watching my videos, and see you in my next video. Thank you and bye.